Hiram Ristrom, who served aboard landing ship HMAS Canimbla and was part of the landing squadron that returned General Douglas MacArthur to the Philippines, one of the great symbolic episodes of the war. Welcome, Hiram. Take us on board the Canimbla as you returned MacArthur to the Philippines.
Yes, well, that was a highly exciting fleet to be in. There were over 800 ships in the fleet, so it was horizon to horizon and beyond horizon to horizon. It was absolutely magnificent. The ships, 360 degrees. Amazing, absolutely amazing. And Japanese planes that came over, they met such a reception that the shell bursts in the sky, I likened it to holding a Christmas cake up above your head and looking at the currents in it, and that was how close and how thick the shell bursts were in the sky. But the Japanese planes came to grief. They did a lot of damage, of course, but by and large, the American Air Force carrier planes dealt with them, or otherwise they got shot down by the ships. So, no, it was a great privilege to be in that fleet, and we didn't land at Tacloban where the main landing was. Our job was to land troops at Panayon Island, just, I reckon it was only a couple of 100 yards off the coast of southern coast of Leyte and the Surigao Strait. And we had a quiet day. The Japanese had bolted out of the place, and we got a great welcome by the Filipinos, and we had fighting cocks and things on board, and a few other items that the Filipinos were lavishing on us. So it was really a picnic day. So, but anyway, we got all the troops ashore and bolted out of there to go and get another load and bring reinforcements, which was badly needed, really. You had to get back to base and get another load of troops and equipment and bring them. When I joined the Navy, I was a refugee from the Army, and there were about another dozen of us, and we missed our draft, and we went down to Flinders on the late train, and we get down there, and all the Maccas, that's the new recruits, are down by the railway siding in the depot yelling out, "You'll be sorry, you'll be sorry." We'd already been sorry in the Army, so they said, what's your class number? It was allocated to us. I said, yes. I did. Oh, well, you're special service. So I suppose all being ex-Army, they put us in the special service group. Well, the special service turned out to be amphibious training, which was a secret depot at Port Stephens in New South Wales, and the town was gated. Residents had to have passes to get in and out of their own town, and we trained there, and we trained with Australian based on the British landing craft, which were very good for the crew because they had steel plating all around the cocks and had a little steel cabin. But when the Yanks came into it, took over, we decided to go with the Yankee craft, which were much more suitable, really, although the coxswain stood up like Jackie and was a sort of a sitting shot for anybody that wanted to have a go at him. Anyway, I ended up being a landing craft coxswain on HMAS Canimbla. We had 25 landing craft, and we could get the landing craft off the ship in 12 minutes, which is remarkable because there were five landing craft across A deck, and the derrick had derricks port and starboard. One had to make 2 lifts and one had to make 3. So to do 3 lifts in 12 minutes was remarkable. So and the Manora could do the same, and we used to chayak each other about who was the fastest, and also the Westralia. But we formed the nucleus of the United States 7th Amphibious Fleet under US Admiral Dan Barbie, and it built up from there, astonishingly. And we were always with the fleet when they did invasions. We did 6 invasions, Hollandia, Morotai, Leyte, with General MacArthur going back, and Lingayen Gulf up at the top of North Island, Luzon, and then 2 with the other with American troops, then 2 with Australian troops at Brunei and Borneo and Balikpapan, and we enjoyed having the Australians on board. Really, they were really laid-back fellas. They'd all been in the army, or most of them, or a lot of them, had been in the army since the beginning, and they were 5-year men, and they were told that as soon as the war ends, you will be the first home. So we had the pleasure of landing them up in the islands, and then when peace was declared, we were up in Subic Bay and waiting to go further north, take the war against the Japanese, and we got the job of taking these veterans home. And we arrived back in Brisbane on the 4th of January 1945. The war started on the 3rd of September 39. So it was just 6 years to the day, virtually, that the war had been going, and some of those men were 5 and 5.5 year men up to 6 years. So it was a great privilege to take them into the islands, and a greater privilege to be able to bring them home safely. That's one of my great memories of the war. Have I got time to say any more?
Can you? What do you say, audience? Yeah? Okay.
Well, all right, number 1 admirer up there. Good on you. Yes, well, I'd just like to say that, you know, the American troops, they hadn't had the training that our Australian troops had. Our blokes had been over the Middle East and everywhere, you know, and they were cool customers, you could say. In the landing at Brunei, we could accommodate about 35 in an LCVP, landing craft vehicle personnel, 35-footer landing craft, and one of the fellas in my landing craft had his 21st birthday on that day, so they cleared a space in the bottom of the barge and lit a Bunsen burner and made him a cup of tea on the way into the landing. And another bloke, he had a history of being a character in his unit. He had binoculars, wrapped up in green baize, couldn't see a thing, and he leaned them on the gunwale of the barge, and he's yelling out as though it's a horse race ashore, and the Australians are cleaning the Japs up, you know. Well, you know, I could say lots more, but I think I better give it away there.